In this tutorial, what I'll be doing is going over some basic mathematical operations in C++. So the whole point that we created electronic computers was to help us do basic mathematics. So it's a good place to start to write programs to actually do some basic mathematics for us. So we're just going to go over adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, powers, common stuff that you've done in math class. So last time that we were here, we wrote the program that did hello world, and just to confirm that it actually runs and it spits out hello world. So this line here, standard cout, just prints what is in quotations, and then this adds a carriage return at the end. So we're just going to copy this because there's no point in starting from scratch every time. This has a lot of stuff that we can reuse. You'll notice that I've already cloned down my repository, and it's in this folder right here. So I'm just going to add a new C++ file, and all that code that I copied, just going to paste that in, and then we will just save the program so that we can run it. So we'll just run this again to make sure that it works, and it does, so we're good. So what we're going to do today is just going to change the comment header. Since that's what we're doing. And instead of just printing out words, what we want to do is we want to actually do some basic math. So the first thing we would like to do is add 9 plus 2. So if we save this program and just run it, hopefully you'll see that it doesn't actually do the math for us because it's inside quotes, so it just spits back that piece of text. So what we actually want it to do is the math that we're trying to get it to do, and we put that in brackets. Just gonna have to put these two little less than symbols before. So now what we're saying is to our standard out, print this piece of text, then actually do this piece of mathematics and print the result out, and then put a carriage return at the end. Just going to save that and rerun it, and you'll notice that it actually gives us the answer, which is lovely. So besides doing addition, if we want to do something else, we could do subtraction. So let's just do 7 minus 2, so we'll print that out, and we'll print the answer out for us. So if we run this, hopefully it'll give us 2 answers, and there we go. So besides addition and subtraction, we can also do things like division. And it gives us the answer. Now in math class, order of operations is an important concept to understand. So in this question here, if you just did it straight through, you would say 4 plus 2 is 8, and then 8 divided by 2 is 4, but that's not actually how we do this, because we're supposed to do the division first because of the rules of BEDMAS. So 4 divided by 2 is actually 2, and then we're adding 4 to that, so we should get 6. So we just want to make sure that the computer can also do this for us. If not, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. And as you can see, it can figure out order of operations for us, so that's good. So addition, subtraction, we haven't done multiplication yet. And in computer science, we usually use the star for multiplication, not the X that you might have been used to in math class. So there you go, it can do multiplication. And the last common thing that we do a lot is raising things to an exponent. So we hopefully should be able to do that. So in math class on your calculator, you might use this little hat symbol for representing the exponent. And there we go. So there's some basic mathematics, and getting the computer to do math for us is really helpful because most programs are going to be based on mathematics. There's just one problem. Hopefully you notice that this is actually giving us the wrong answer. So 2 to the exponent 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, which should be 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, plus 5, that does not equal 4. So there's something going wrong here, but the computer didn't give us any error. And the problem is us. It's not actually the computer or the program we wrote. The thing is, this symbol, this little hat, does not actually mean to the exponent in C++. So this is just a documentation on operators in C++, and you see this little hat. It actually means something called XOR. And if you take computer engineering, that might make more sense, but it does not mean to the exponent or to the power. So this actually means to the power in C++. It's actually a function called power. So it's important when you're writing your programs that you actually have something called test cases. When you do your calculation, you should know in advance what the result should be, because if you don't, you're just going to blindly trust what the computer is doing, and it might not be doing the exact thing that you think it should be doing. So really, this is what we're looking for. So 2 to the power of 3. And what that looks like here is the same kind of thing. You just put a comma to separate them. So that's what this function here says we should do. So there's the base and the exponent. So power. So if we save our program and we run it, you'll notice we get a horrible error. So the problem is this function actually is a separate library. So this line up here of include gave us some functionality that let us do this standard in and out. And we need the same kind of functionality to actually do power. And what we need is this library called the CMath. So we're just going to take this and we're going to add another include statement. Then we're going to run our program again. And you'll notice now it comes out and we actually get the correct answer. 8, 2 to the exponent 3 plus 5 is 13, and now it's actually working. So just make sure before you actually run your program, you actually know what the result should be by having a test case, and you can confirm that the computer is actually giving you the correct result.